A new study from Gallup shows 1 in 5 U.S. adults say they want to leave the U.S. permanently, and that number doubles among young women.
And younger women are behind that spike.
Record numbers of younger women want to leave the U.S.
A new study says 40% of younger women want to leave the United States permanently. Do you?
No. Absolutely not.
Personally, for my well-being, we'll probably be relocating.
I have some friends who are kind of planning to move to Thailand.
There is just stuff you see and it's just like, wow, like it's really just going down.
I hope they get out of here and save us a lot more money.
The media is running wild with this new Gallup poll. 1 in 5 Americans want to leave the country, and women are driving the trend. And of course, the media instantly blames it on politics.
Check out these numbers. About 40% of US women between ages of 15 and 44 say they would like to permanently move to another country. Down 4 points from the all-time high last year, but quadrupled since 2014. Compare that to men of the same age, where only 19% say that they want to permanently leave. That 21-point gap between men and women is the widest it has been since Gallup began tracking those numbers back in 2007.
The reason behind their desire to move? Well, unsurprisingly, politics is likely to play a role. There's a 25-point gap in the desire to move between Americans who approve and disapprove of the current leadership. Only 4% of those who approve of U.S. leadership say that they would like to move, but among those who disapprove, nearly 30% said they would like to leave the U.S.
What don't you like about America?
Currently, our government, the current administration.
Our president's not really a great example.
Shalom. Once again, all praise is honor and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akim. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video. Let me start over. I lost such a train of thoughts right here. Alright, shalom once again. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akim. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Hashem, Rakakwadash. All praises and glory is used. Like that was a complete brain fart right there. Anyway, and as you saw from the video that I put up before this one, Lord willing, right? Well, allegedly, okay, somebody did a poll on how many people want to leave the US, in the current Trump regime, right? And you find out that over 20% of young adults or young people aged 15 to 44 want to leave the US, and then over 40% of women aged 15 to 44 want to leave the US. And all I got from that is that the fire is not hot enough. You understand? That's what I got from that, man. Because only 40%, right? Only 40%. The fire in Babylon clearly is not hot enough, right? You people in Babylon the Great are still living too good. Okay. The curses, right? The judgment of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is clearly not hot enough on you Babylonians, right? For only 40%. That's less than especially on you women, man. That's not a majority, right? The majority of women, right? The majority of people still want to be in Babylon, and that shows you that that we are still in the early stages of this thing. Okay, your things have the things. That shows you how much worse things can get for you people out here. Okay, and the fact that we're still in the early stages of this thing still shows you just how much mercy the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua really is showing to our people out here, right? Because you should have that space, that time to repent. So now let's get into the video, right? And that's prophetic right there, okay? Where you see people wanting to actually flee Babylon the Great because of the. Let's just get that precept. Let's get that precept. Let's get that precept. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's hand, and of course, as we already know, right, America is Babylon the Great. It would have healed, but Right, like I was saying, we could have healed Babylon. Okay, so this is it right here. So this is the book of Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right, so this is the first part of the prophecy. And we know that the wine of Babylon the Great is not actual alcohol. It's not as though the US is the #1 exporter in the world of wine, right? In fact, I believe that the US actually imports a lot of their liquor from South America, right? So the US doesn't really produce alcohol like that, or even wine in this case. But we understand the wine to have a spiritual meaning. Okay, it means doctrine, philosophies, dogma. Okay, because the philosophies of America, Babylon the Great, your feminism, your democracy, even your military industrial complex, your prison industrial complex, right? For example, how a lot of the practices in World War II, right, of that the Yahtzees used against the small hearts, they were inspired from how America, Babylon the Great, treated Jake, right? The idea of concentration camps was even because of, right, the Yahtzees were inspired by Babylon the Great. In fact, there was even a something called, let me go to that, the Namibian genocide. All right, let's get that. The Namibian genocide that was done by the Germans before the Holocaust. But of course, you never hear this being talked about when we talk about the things that happened in World War II, or the events, right, the casualties of World War II, because everybody only considers the small hearts. That's why you see that Hitler is considered one of the most evil people on the planet, right? But men like Winston Churchill that killed all the millions of Elamites, right? Men like Stalin. Let's focus on Winston Churchill, because at least Stalin gets a little bit of hate, right? But men like Winston Churchill, who his policies killed millions of Indians, okay, he's considered the hero, right, of World War II, because he went against the Germans. So let's get this. Yeah, this is right here. So let's read this. The Herero and Nama genocide. The Herero and Nama genocide, or Namibian genocide, formerly known as the Herero and Namakwa genocide, was a campaign of ethnic extermination and collective punishment waged against the Herero and Nama people in German Southwest Africa by the German Empire, and it was during 1904. So you see that it is decades before, right, the Holocaust and before World War II. So you already had the Germans practicing concentration camps and genocide moves. All the all the way in Africa, and even before World War II. And of course, this one isn't really talked about because, the main focus is on the Holocaust and the events of World War II, right? But this is one of the many exports, right? The wine of Babylon. But let's keep going into this. It needs to lock. I don't know why. I don't know where I started sneezing. Anyway, Jeremiah 51, verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. God. And that's basically the only, possible conclusion when it comes to what is going on currently in America, Babylon the Great, right? Babylon the Great is not healed, right? Every man should flee back to their own lands because of the destruction and judgment that is coming upon it. So when you open up the news media and you hear that only 40% of women and 20 or so percent of everybody else, right, wants to actually leave Babylon, your mind, you're thinking, these people don't really know what's coming down or what's going on. These people don't know what's about to happen, right? And of course, you're thinking these numbers, these are rookie numbers, right? These are small numbers, okay? Which of course shows you once again that, things haven't gotten hot enough for you Babylonians, That's why you still feel that, oh, we can still manage this condition and this situation in America, Babylon the Great. Of course, the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushai is still going to continue to put that fire and bring the ultimate downfall and destruction of America, Babylon the Great. So let me get another quick precept, right? Because going back to the video, right, the focus of the video was actually on the fact that you had so many women, right, that wanted to actually leave America, Babylon the Great. And of course, because of or due to the current regime, right, the current administration, which is Donald Trump's administration, and you've seen how the administration has basically attacked feminism as a whole, and basically all these wayward doctrines that America, Babylon the Great pushes, not because of some righteousness or because they are right or because they are righteous, but rather because Trump and his backers want to push their own wicked wayward doctrines, right? So the wicked wayward doctrines of Babylon that already exist are in the way of that. So in order for them to push their own wicked and wayward doctrines, they have to slowly right, or I should say not even slowly self, because Trump has only been in office for Trump has been in office for less than a year, but we see how quickly he has moved, right, on these policies that he's trying to push out. So they are quickly removing all these policies, which include a lot of the women empowerment and feminist policies. And now you are finding out the truth of Babylon at the end of the day, right? You women out here, Isaiah 32 verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fall, and the gathering shall not come. And that's exactly what's happening right now. From the DEI and the affirmative action being shut down, which was mainly women that benefited from, especially Edomite women, to the 300,000 or so Jake women, Eve, right, that were fired from government work, right? And even a new bill was just signed recently that made a lot of these female dominated university degrees, right, become less advanced degrees, basically. So that and making it, I don't really know the implications of that, but ultimately you had a lot of women that were breaking down about that situation as well. And that's the Apostle Tahar right there, his life. And the funny thing I just found out, right, I'm not sure I'll be able to see that video again when I was scrolling online looking through different shots and videos, right, just trying to you know how it is, I'm looking for content to do video on, so to do videos on, I'm looking for an inspiration for a video. So I was scrolling online and I saw this video of all these and it was most especially Eve, man. You had mainly Eves, you had a few heathen as well, but it was mainly Eves, and they were talking about the degrees that they got when they graduated, and it was a whole bunch of, it's not even a matter of useless degrees, made up degrees, okay? They made up a major, they made up a course of study, and they did that course for 4 years, talking about some cultural effects of colonization on Native American women and Native and indigenous women all over the Americas. That is what these women graduated with and studied. And I've forgotten what it was called. It wasn't called the major. I've forgotten the term that they used to refer to it. Basically, like a custom major that you can do in a lot of these universities, especially the HBCUs, right? And that shows you the kind of degrees that these women are actually getting, right? Like I was saying, this current administration, they downgraded some of these degrees, like social worker degrees, the teachers degrees, and so on and so forth, from professional degrees. They downgraded it downwards, okay? And that is because, right, like I said, man, Esau Edom is already removing all the unrighteous decrees that have been set up in this kingdom, that promoted the feminism and a lot of these alphabet alternative lifestyles, right? All in order to push their own unrighteous and wicked decrees, right? Which is basically going to just create, more avenue for the NW of Esau Edom to actually be in effect. So now, continuing on, Isaiah 32 verse 11. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and get up you and get sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Right. And Esau also, took out the funding for your SNAP benefits, your EBT, and so on and so forth, are basically taken out, and that affected indiscriminately, right? Or I should say discriminately or overwhelmingly affected women, right? So now a lot of these Babylonian women are going to begin to see in these last days just how bad things can get for them, right? But like I said, I guess it's not bad enough, because clearly they still don't want to leave Babylon. Okay, so that shows you the times that we're in right there. That shows you that a lot of people, a lot of our people, are clearly still ignorant of and don't understand the realities of what is going on currently on the earth. So clearly the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has to up the fire and up the judgments that take place in Babylon the Great, so that you people, you Babylonians, can understand what's going on. So I'll end the video right there. Just wanted to go into this real quick. So with that, once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High Yahweh Ba'Hasham Yahawashi Ba'Hasham Raka Kwadash Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit. I hope you are calm and you are quiet, were edified. Shalom.